Welcome, Brian. It's so lovely to meet you live. I've covered you in conferences in the past, and you're always a delight. One of the things that I love about you, I was just telling my crew, is that you have a great personality and you're a great entertainer, as well as being very smart in our ecosystem. Tell me, what do you see is the main piece about being able to actually entertain the crowd and get them interested to actually then learn?
Yeah, I think one of the things I tried to accomplish was just to sort of say what everybody was thinking, right? I know that always is the case, and I'm lucky enough to have the ability to sort of at least do some of that without offending too many people.
Right.
But I think, a lot of people know really themselves sometimes what this feedback is. They just need someone to tell them for them, right? It's kind of how we are like as human beings anyways.
So it's not really a test of the grey matter, it's just about simply being honest.
Absolutely, 100%.
Fabulous. And I hear that you're scaling now with your startup, and you've just raised some funding at the end of last year. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, what's happening?
Yeah, sure. So we raised $11 million late last year. We also announced a part of that investment earlier this year was this company called IPG, Interpublic Group, and they're one of the big 4 ad holding companies, and we were excited just because of the validation that came from that. And IPG also, most people know that their last investment was Facebook, and they invested $200 million. Now obviously the amount of money they invested in us was less than that, but I think just understanding that holding companies are paying attention to what mobile means to advertisers and actually validating and making companies work for them in a good way is actually a great thing. So we're scaling now. We're now in New York, San Francisco, LA, Chicago, London. A lot of international growth for us is also happening because we have inventory from app developers all around the world.
Wow.
It's just a matter of getting brands locally that actually can be reward providers in those countries as well.
So would you have any advice for those entrepreneurs out there that are facing the scaling issue? Obviously it's like a huge one, and if you've taken on venture capital, you have to do it basically.
Yeah.
Some advice?
Yeah, well, I think that's actually challenging that one. It's just because you raise doesn't mean you have to go crazy if you don't even know what direction you're heading in, right? So I think a lot of people, raising money, quite honestly, it's selling a part of your company, right? It's not like something that you should be popping bottles about. So it's enabling a new chapter in your company, right? So knowing that that's what's happening, you need to be very careful and understand that you still control it. You still decide where to spend the money. Don't feel pressure to spend just because you need to spend. And that's, I think, the biggest issue that we're facing as an entrepreneurial pool is, there's a culture of spending just because you've raised. You should understand that you actually should be building a business. You should be aiming towards profitability. These are all your intentions that you should be having.
Yeah.
I don't know how people can sleep when they know there's a finite fume date. Literally some companies know that there's a day, hour, minute, second that they will run out of money, and that's just terrifying, right? So knowing that you can actually generate revenue
Right.
and know how to sort of obviously reverse that is very, very important.
And I know you were one of the youngest entrepreneurs to actually raise your first round. Can you talk a little bit about that, and what was the secret of your success?
Well, I'm now an old fart. I just turned 22
Oh
in
my
April.
God.
Yeah. But think about the guys that have been making waves that are like 17 right now, like Nick from Sumley and all these guys.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, it was a novel factor, but quite honestly, in this area, it doesn't matter how old you are. And in fact, it's expected that you walk into a VC's office and you look like you just came out of high school. And if you don't look like that, there's actually a question. Are you sure you're making the right decision? Should you, so it's, a lot of it's like, don't even pay attention to your age, focus on your company.
Okay.
It's not, you don't get any passes, you don't get any extra strikes just because you're younger. It doesn't matter. We're still in the real world. This is still about millions of dollars and hundreds of millions of dollars and billions of dollars and making a big impact in the industry.
Okay. So was there a particular secret sauce that you saw that was your success factor in raising that first round? I mean, you were 17, correct?
I was 19.
19,
I was
sorry.
Yeah, I was older. But yeah, no, there is no X factor. All of it is making sure that you know that your team is what you want it to be, and the market that you're obviously creating your product for is growing. I mean, there's a market, there's a team, and the vision, right? These are the 3 things that VCs look at.
Yeah.
And it's so easy just to make sure that you don't mess up on any of those 3. And having those check boxes are very important. And that's actually one of the biggest things that people just have to remember.
Fabulous. Look, thanks so much for your time today, and I wish you all the best with the scaling.
Thank you very much.
Okay.